Hi South Holland, welcome back to Lunch with the Librarian. Today we're making something that is going to be at once familiar but with kind of a different twist on it. If you like pizza and you like, well, if you like pizza, then this should be a good one. Let me focus let me put my mask on and put the so that you can see it. This is a good one. Sorry about the wobbly wobbly camera. Y'all know who I am. This is a good one for using up leftovers of protein. And what you're gonna need is pizza crust, just a tube of refrigerator pizza crust. This is the classic instead of the thin crust. I suppose if you wanted to do thin crust, you could. We had this in the fridge, so this is what we're using. Pizza crust, mozzarella cheese, cooked chicken. I didn't cook a chicken, so we're using that from the fridge. Parmesan cheese, like you're used to. We've used this before. In the recipe that I'm going to link in the post for this recipe, it has us sauteing an onion and a red bell pepper to put in the filling of what we're going to make. I'm not a huge onion fan, and also we didn't, I'm just not a fan. And if this is my lunch, I'm making it the way I want. It has you saute a half an onion and a half a red bell pepper. I'm mixing the onion, but I do like red bell pepper, so I'm using these roasted red bell peppers. These are packed in water. You can also get them where they are packed with olive oil and garlic. These are in the same aisle in the store as spaghetti sauce. So I'll show you how we're going to use that in a minute. And then the last thing is pesto. Pesto is a kind of pasta sauce, and it's made from basil. And it's really, really good. You can get this, this is from the refrigerator case. You can get it in jars also right by the spaghetti sauce. So, that being said, I got the oven preheating to 400 degrees. I'm going to spray a sheet pan with nonstick spray. And I'm going to crack open this womp dough. Actually, I'm going to do something else first. Stay. All right. I'm going over here and grab a little bowl and a little knife. And I'm going to cut apart. I hope I don't need to get Brian in here to open, the jar. There's the oven at 400. It's fine if it hangs out a little bit. I've already washed my hands. My hair is already back. All I'm doing is cutting this into smallish pieces. You can cut them to really kind of whatever size you like. If you like green peppers on your pizza, whatever size kind of that makes you happy. And I'm just sort of eyeballing this. This right here, you can kind of tell, is a full pepper. We only need a half a one. So I'm not going to cut that one up right now. Crap. It's like trying to get a pickle out of the jar, you know? They're slippery little boogers. And this one, as you can see, is huge. So I'm just going to cut off a little bit more bell pepper from the one. Back in the fridge, these are gonna go. They last a pretty long time in the fridge. They're not pickled or anything, they're just roasted and packed in water. I want pretty small pieces because that's how I like it. Basically, when I take a bite of this at the end, I want to have a little bit of everything in each bite. So I'm going to be chopping this stuff pretty finely. All right. And just setting this to the side. Let me go rinse my stuff off so that I can use it again. And it doesn't get all, basically what I don't want is my pizza crust that I'm making to get real soggy. I want it to be able to get like brown and pizza crusty. The next thing I'm going to do is cut the chicken, a cup of cooked chicken, whether that is poached or broiled or baked or roasted or whatever. You're using about a cup. You can measure this if you want. You don't have to. If you you're just kind of eyeballing it, and you'll see what I mean in a minute when I start putting all of the elements of this recipe together. I'm just cutting this into pretty small pieces. It's super important that if you're using meat in this, whether it's chicken or turkey, it's got to be cooked all the way first. These aren't going to be like, it's not going to be the sort of thing that like it's going to cook while you like the meat's not going to cook through while it's in the oven. It's not going to be in long enough. It only bakes for like 18 minutes or so. All right, got that. All right, we are cut apart in pretty small pieces. Now let's get to putting this together. The pizza crust is going on a pan. I've already put nonstick spray on this pan so that what we are making doesn't stick. Hence, nonstick. Ooh, there's a big old hole in the middle of this. If that happens, it's not a big deal. Just kind of pinch it closed. We're making rolls anyway, so any holes like that aren't necessarily gonna, you're not gonna be like, pizza toppings are not gonna like seep through the dough and make a big mess. It's all going to be rolled up on the inside. All right, so I've got my pizza dough in kind of a flat rectangle, as even as I can make it. I'm going to use a spoon. This is just a regular spoon. The recipe calls for a 7-ounce container of pesto. This, what I'm holding, is a 7-ounce container of pesto. Notice the liquid that's on top of this. It's just olive oil. So what I want to do before I use this is stir it up to incorporate all of that basil-y, garlicky olive oil into the sauce. And I'm going to use this whole container. Let me actually move this closer so you can see better what I'm doing. Boom. Sort of like frosting a cake. I'm just putting spoonfuls on the dough. And spreading it out like you would pizza sauce if you were making a pizza like you were used to. I love pesto sauce in the summertime. It is one of my favorites. It's just very kind of fresh tasting. Sometimes like an Alfredo or a vodka sauce can be really heavy because it's got all kinds of cheese and it's really long simmered. Or a meat sauce can be like that sometimes. Pesto sauce tastes like summertime. It is a favorite. All right. Just spreading that around so that it's basically even, using up all of that yummy pesto sauce. Empty container. All right. From there, I'm going to put the fillings for this sandwich odyssey kind of pesto chicken pizza roll sort of thing in the center, and I'm going to spread them out just like I'm making a pizza. So there is my roasted red pepper. Again, just like you're making a pizza. Spread it all out so that regardless of what part of this you end up eating, where your slice comes from, you're going to get a little bit of everything in each bite. So here is your red bell pepper, and if you have onions, if you chose to saute yourself a half an onion, you would do that then. If you want to put a little bit more red bell pepper on here or a little bit more chicken, because that's the next step, I'm just spreading this out just like I was making a pizza. Like if you decide that you want something, if you want more, then do it. Like, that's kind of the beauty of cooking for yourself. You can make things exactly the way that you want them. So I've got my chicken all spread out. The next part is how much Parmesan cheese? A 1/4 cup. So let me go get a 1/4 cup measure. 1/4 cup dry measure, make it kind of an even scoop, and then I'm just sprinkling this over everything, more or less evenly until it's all gone. You probably don't want a ton more than that because there's Parmesan cheese in the pesto already. Like, that's one of the ingredients in pesto sauce. So you probably don't want a ton of extra parm. And then the last ingredient is a bag of shredded mozzarella cheese. And just like everything else, you're sort of sprinkling that evenly, neatly, maybe more, hopefully more neatly than I am. Over all of it. And you're going to use the whole bag. There you go. I'm kind of putting it like in the middle, and then I'm just going to use my hands to move it to the sides the way I want, so that it's all pretty even. All right. So now that I've done that, here's where it gets tricky. Here's where I'm gonna screw this up, South Holland. What you're gonna do is taking the long side of the dough. These are roll-ups, so we're rolling it up. As tight as you can. See what I mean about, like, there's a hole in the dough, but it's getting rolled up into the middle, so it's not that big a deal. As tightly as possible, but you don't have to stress out about it. If you notice that there are parts that are thin, like there was a hole there, I just pinched it closed like that, right along that seam. That is a stubborn one. And then what I'm going to do is cut this into 12 pieces. So I find you cut it in half, and then you cut the halves in half. So it's 2, 4, and now this guy gets into thirds. If you planned this better than I did, if you're just like better at life than I am, and your stuff is more, if your roll is tighter than mine, good, like, I congratulate you, frankly. There you go. As I'm putting it on the tray, kind of like you would cinnamon rolls, I'm just sort of tucking everything a little bit tighter as I go from roll to roll. And if you have to do that too, because your cinnamon roll or pizza roll rolling skills are like mine, that's okay. Here's the thing about me. My food tastes good. It doesn't usually look real neat. Like, I can't frost a cupcake to save my life. And I have taken, like, the cake decorating class at Wilton. I have done that. And I am not better at it now than I was. God bless every art teacher I've ever had in my life. Mr. Bourne at Prairie Junior High School was a very, very patient man with me, because your girl cannot make what's in her head like appear on paper. I'm not skilled like Miss Alina or Miss Kalia is like that. I'm a mess. But I try hard. And so things kinda, they don't look good, but they taste good. And I suppose that's really what counts, right? We're not trying to like be professional chefs or anything. I am not, as much as my husband would like for me to be Stephanie Izzard, I am not Stephanie Izzard. I am not Grant Achatz or Marcus Samuelson. I'm just me, making ugly food. Ugly, delicious food. All right, I'm gonna finish this up, and I'll show you kind of what I end up with that's going into the oven. I'll be back in a minute. Y'all, when I said ugly, I wasn't lying. It occurs to me, I wonder how these would work if, in order to kind of keep things neat, you cooked them in a muffin tin and just kind of tucked the little rolls into each of the muffin cups. I wonder how that would work. Don't have a muffin tin here at South Holland Public, but that might be an experiment for you or for later in life. All right, so these are on the baking sheet. These are going into my 400-degree oven for 18 minutes. I'm gonna check it at 18 if it needs a little bit of extra time for it to get like golden brown and bubbly and melty, cheesy, gooey, yummy goodness. Then I'll kind of pop them in 2-minute intervals and kind of keep an eye on them until they are as brown and bubbly and gooey as I like. So I will see you back here in 18 minutes. All right, my friends, these are done. I just took them out of the oven. It took me the 18 minutes. So that is fine, depending on how hot your oven runs. Yours might take longer or shorter, and that is fine. I'm grabbing a spatula because I was not smart enough. That is an ugly noise, I'm sorry. La 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 la. So when I took these out, because of this amount of space in the pan, you, like there's a fair amount of oil on the bottom of the pan that melted out during the baking process. As these have sat here, they have kind of reabsorbed a little bit of that. Which just means that there is more deliciousness in your mouth and less that is sitting on the plate. And really, you want the deliciousness. You want all the deliciousness. You don't want to waste any little itty bitty bit. So there's nothing to do now except take these off of the pan that I cooked them on. I'm going to set some... Here's the thing about this not being an actual like working like home kitchen. There are things here that you'd think we'd have that we do not have. Like paper towels today. I can hear my mother saying, "You don't have paper towels at your house, Jen. What are you talking about?" And it's true, I don't have paper towels at my house. Just trying to be eco-conscious. So I'm going to take these off the pan and set them on paper napkins that I will put on this tray. And lunch is served. Let me know. Oh, if you want to dip these in marinara sauce, that might be really delicious. Your girl loves a dipping sauce, and so that might be just the thing here. You can just heat that up in the microwave if you want it, or not, kind of however you like. So thanks for being with me for lunch today. I look forward to hearing how these turn out for you if you made them. Post pictures of how yours are neater than mine to the recipe. And as always, the URL for the recipe is linked on this post with the video, and the videos are all archived on the South Holland Youth Services YouTube channel. Thanks for being with me, South Holland. I will see you next Thursday. Have a good week.